Hello guys, once again it's Matt, and today we have another video. Thank you all the members, all the Patreons. Make sure to subscribe and let's get into it, guys. We are starting to get close, very close to the end of the year. And this Super 530 got a buff yesterday, as you know probably if you watched yesterday's video on the channel. Basically, they increased the max lock break time in the files, which means that you can actually use the Super 530, lose a lock and wait around, what, 15 seconds, I think? Or something along those lines. Basically the missile will not self-explode. So today I just wanted to test it out to see if it actually is better or not. And it's basically the same, you know, it's a missile that it is very good at up close, but at BVR, I mean, yes, you can get kills at BVR, but the missile that just doesn't have the energy that a Sparrow or R27 has, right? So in a 1v1 against these two missiles, you will end up dying, okay? So don't try to be that aircraft that is just flying high and doing proper BVR with these missiles. The good part about it is that if you lose a lock up close like this, you can reacquire the lock and still get the kill. The only problem with that is that normally that never happens, so it's kind of like it's a buff, but nothing like changed on the meta of the missile, okay? So just a small disclaimer, ignore the way that I'm flying over here, because I was actually trying to push the missile and the aircraft to the limit here. I was not trying to stay alive, I was just trying to test the missile as reliably as possible, okay? And what I noticed is that, yes, if you actually fire the missile and lose the lock, you can try to reacquire the lock, okay? And it will work, as you see on the next little clip that I'm going to show to you. But the problem is that it's like it has to be on the FOV of the missile, kind of, you know? So it's a little bit harder to actually, it's almost impossible to change targets between the shots. Like you do in an R27, for example. So at the end of the day, even though yes, this makes for a more reliable shooting of these missiles, it's not really like, it doesn't change much because you cannot change the target. So it's kind of weird. And the radar of the Mirage 4000 in specific, it's very weird, as you're going to see in this clip. I was losing locks and like it was not properly working because you only have the HDN modes, and HDN modes are not really that good up close, right? And you don't have a normal medium PRF mode on this radar, right? So I wasn't like I should have just went for using the normal mode of the radar, but my mistake there. But still, here is a clear example of this working. So I lost the lock there, right? And I was trying to reacquire, and it was maintaining for a little bit, but then losing again, and maintaining for a little bit and losing again. And that was on and on. And as you're going to see, the missile was still flying and getting updates from time to time on the target. So at the end of the day, yes, it is a lot more usable, and at the right circumstances, the missile will actually be better and you will be able to get targets. But it's not really reliable because the missile doesn't have a lot of energy. So there's a lot other missiles that will get to the target quicker. You know, at the end of the day, even though it is a BVR missile, it's not really a reliable BVR missile, right? So it's just better to use it up close. Even though it's advertised as a BVR missile, it's one of those missiles like the Skyflash. I mean, technically it is a BVR missile, but it's much better to just use it as a short range, like head-on kind of situation, right? So, you know, it's a little bit underwhelming, because I really thought that maybe together with the autopilot changes that they did a while back in the Super 530, we could actually see something of a more reliable BVR weapon for the French. But I guess for specific BVR, you know, for very long ranges, above 20-30 kilometers, we will need to wait for the Mika. Then is where the fun actually begins, right? Until then, yeah, it's a very good missile, but as I said, it's not really usable in the longer ranges just because of the energy. If he had more energy, it would actually be an amazing missile, because the autopilot that it has lofts like no other missile in the game. Not even the R-27s, or even I think the AIM-54s, or at least they feel like that, loft this much. So they maintain their energy as much as they can. But the problem is that even though in theory they can get to the longer ranges of shooting, you know, you are limited to the short burn time and or maybe the amount of drag that the missile has, or something along those lines of thinking, that makes it a very low energy missile for very long range. Like it's just that the missile takes so much time to get to the target that it's not really worth it. Just wait until it gets to, like, you know, 10 kilometers, and then the missile will hit the target first anyway, right? Because it loses so much energy in the long, like, kind of longer range engagements. So yeah, at least we have still the Magic, which, by the way, even with people, you know, complaining that it should be 50 Gs and stuff, even with that, even not being a 50 G missile, still it is one of the best missiles out there because of its IRCCM. It really, really is a good IRCCM, pretty much on par or even a little bit better, I think, than the one in the R73. So it's a very good one. And here again, just trying it out on the Mirage. Of course, again, it's a small disclaimer, you know, it's not something that you normally would do in a Mirage, okay? It's just that I'm pushing the limits of the missile and putting in the same situation as the Sparrow and the R27s that I normally play with, to see how they perform, you know, as a proper beyond visual range missile. And as you see, the lofting, you know, like performance of it is amazing. Look at the amount of loft that the missile actually does. It's attacking a target from right above it, and that's a very, very good strategy, to be honest. But the thing is that the missile takes too much time to actually get to the target. Eventually you need to lose the lock, or you will end up losing the lock. And the radar, for example, on the Mirage 4000 is kind of glitchy sometimes. So at the end of the day, yes guys, there was a buff on the Super 530, but don't expect anything too different on it. It's still the same very good short range missile, but not really a BVR missile for the meta of the game, even with the BVR buff that it got. We're going to test it out as well in another video with the Sparrow, and there it's a little bit different because it is a missile that has a lot more energy, so it helps a lot having that break lock time a lot longer, you know. But anyway, let me know in the comments what you think about the Super 530. I see you guys on the next one. Make sure to subscribe, and bye.